There is a story I would like to share with you today. It is about a man who was trapped, not by walls, but by his own mind. His prison was invisible, yet it held him captive. He was not shackled by chains, but by overthinking. Perhaps you too have felt trapped by your thoughts, spinning endlessly in your mind, unable to find peace. In my years as a monk, I have learned that the key to freedom lies not in trying to control every thought, but in learning to let go. Today, I will guide you through this journey of how to stop overthinking and find true calm within. When I first arrived at the monastery, I was a prisoner of my own mind. I would sit in meditation, but instead of peace, my thoughts would race. What I had done wrong in the past, what I needed to do tomorrow. There was no escape, and the more I tried to silence my mind, the louder it became. One day, I sought advice from an elderly monk. He listened patiently and then told me a simple story. There was once a man who was walking through a dense forest, lost and confused. The more he searched for the way out, the more he wandered in circles. Finally, exhausted, he sat down beneath a tree, no longer fighting his way forward. It was in that stillness that he realized the path was right in front of him, but his overthinking had clouded his vision. This story stayed with me, and it holds the first lesson I will share with you. Overthinking is like walking in circles. The more you try to think your way out, the more you remain stuck. Sometimes the answer is not in thinking more, but in thinking less, in allowing the mind to rest. You see, overthinking arises when we believe that by analyzing every detail, we will solve every problem. But life doesn't always work that way. The mind is like a lake. When it is agitated, the water is cloudy, and you cannot see the bottom. But when the water is still, the clarity returns. When we overthink, we are like that agitated lake, our thoughts muddying the waters of our minds. The key is to bring stillness, to calm the waters. But how do we do that? The first practice is awareness. When you notice that your thoughts are spiraling, simply acknowledge it. Don't judge yourself or fight against the thoughts. Just observe them like clouds passing through the sky. This is something we practice deeply in the monastery. We do not chase after every thought or try to change it. We simply watch it. The moment you become aware of your overthinking, you create a distance between yourself and your thoughts. You begin to see that your thoughts are not you, they're just visitors. The second practice is letting go. I once heard a beautiful story of a man carrying a heavy sack of stones. He had carried it for so long that he forgot he could set it down. Overthinking is like that heavy sack. We carry our worries, regrets, and what-ifs, not realizing that we can release them at any moment. You cannot control every outcome in life. You cannot predict every future event or change the past, but you can choose to let go of the need to control. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? Then slowly allow yourself to release it. In the monastery, we are often told, let go or be dragged. The tighter you cling to your thoughts, the more they will pull you into a cycle of anxiety and stress. But when you release them, you make space for peace. The final practice is returning to the present. Overthinking often takes us away from the here and now. We dwell in the past or worry about the future, but life is only happening in this moment, right here. The breath is our greatest ally in returning to the present. Take a deep breath in and let it out. In that single breath, notice how your mind quiets, how your body softens. When your thoughts begin to race, bring your attention back to your breath, to the sensations in your body, to the sounds around you. Each time you do this, you remind yourself that the present moment is where your power lies, not in the endless cycle of thoughts. I once met a man who had spent his whole life overthinking every decision, every conversation. He said to me, I'm exhausted from thinking all the time. I told him, the mind is like the river. It will always flow, but you don't have to swim against it. Let it carry you. Overthinking doesn't solve problems. It only drains your energy. The river of thoughts will always be there. But when you learn to sit by the river and watch it, without jumping in, you will find a deep calm. And in that calm, you may even find the clarity you were seeking all along.